Yesterday, Epic released Fortnite Battle Royale State of Development version 4. There's two main things that they're going to be adding that I want to talk about today. The main thing is 60 FPS on consoles. Later this month, we plan to add an optional 60 FPS mode for Battle Royale on consoles, PS4, PS4 Pro, Xbox One, and Xbox One X. This 60 FPS mode is tuned for each console to maximize frame rate while minimizing loss of visual quality. What this means is the Xbox One, it's gonna look worse than the PS4, the PS4 Pro, and then the Xbox One X, obviously, but it's gonna run at 60 FPS, how it should be. It's a competitive multiplayer game, and right now, if you play on the regular Xbox, you have the worst experience, followed by the PS4, PS4 Pro, and then the Xbox One X. It's the most powerful console out right now, so it should have, the best running version of Fortnite currently. But when they do this patch, everybody's gonna have 60 FPS, which is gonna make it fair. And who really cares if the game looks a little bit worse? I mean, the style of the game. It's cartoonish. It's not realistic, anyways. They're also making matchmaking improvements. We are working on changes to matchmaking that are aimed at creating matches with a more balanced distribution of skill. What this means is players that play the game a lot, like myself and other streamers, will go against each other, and players who don't have a lot of time to play, casual players or players who don't have time, will go against each other. And at first I thought this was a really good idea. I'm like, well, that's good, right? It makes sense, until I started reading some of the things that some of the people on Reddit have been saying, and now I don't know what to think. So this is the reason why I made this video. I want to know what you guys also think. So I'm going to post some things that they have said, and I'm going to respond to each one of them. But I also want you guys to let me know what you think in the comments down below. One of the posts that has the most upvotes is this one. The way I see it, the arguments for not adding skill-based matchmaking to Fortnite are a bit more specific to the BR as a genre than they are to how it worked for other games. Skill-based matchmaking is a downright requirement in team-based shooters like Overwatch or CSGO, because not to have them would completely undermine the core concepts of those games and leave matchmaking down to, in large part, RNG, where matches are decided before they begin. In Battle Royale, the only form of this is squad fill, which is completely avoidable by playing other modes or with friends. And besides that, the carry potential in BR is massively higher when there is no SBMM. Okay, so what he's trying to say is kind of what I've mentioned a few times. People ask me what I used to play before Fortnite, and one of the games that I played was Overwatch. Now, Overwatch is a team game, so no matter how good I was or how good anybody is, if your team is not good, if they're toxic, then you're gonna hit like a wall, right? So in Overwatch, I made it to Masters, and every time I got close to Grandmasters, we would get toxic players and I would go down, etc., etc. And that's the same thing with Counter-Strike or Call of Duty. You depend on your team. So what he's saying is the reason why it's a good idea to have matchmaking based on skill is because that way you're going to be teamed up with people of your skill level, and that way you can go up. Because if you get teamed up with, say, like a brand new player, then you have to carry him, and it's going to make it harder for you to go up. And in BR, you don't have that. And he mentions that the only way that you can have that in BR is if you do squad fill, right? Like if I play squads and I do fill, then I'm going to have random people. But that's avoidable because you can just, you can either do solo squad or you can just play solo. And if you're going to do squads or duels, then you can just do it with your team. He also mentions, in my opinion, two of the biggest reasons for success of the emerging BR genre are closely related to your chances of winning a given game. You are against 96 to 99 other players, and your chances of winning are minimal. Recognizing these circumstances as the number of players goes down and your chances go up. Your heart rate will go up. For new players, they are having fun because the odds are against them, not despite it. It gets their heart rate up and serves to form tension in each engagement. Even when you get destroyed or when you lose, that tension and adrenaline keeps it fun. Every kill is one step closer to victory, providing just one more thing you have to lose and upping the tension even farther. For veteran players, one primary motivator is the result of their efforts to get better. As they get better, they outplay their opponents more and more. And while destroying new players may not serve much to their gameplay experience in itself besides proving their skill to themselves, it serves as a downtime for real intense moments. That's what gets them hyped, to see the results of improvement and to live those intense moments when they do find good players to overcome previously insurmountable odds. Flattening the curve undermines these very things that make BR fun. Newer players aren't going to feel nearly as much pressure, adrenaline, or tension knowing that their triumph, no matter how big or small, was against someone no better than them. And veteran players won't be able to see their improvement in any meaningful way if their win rate, KD, etc. are going up in any significant fashion. Furthermore, fights against players their skill level aren't exciting if they are the norm, essentially removing the downtime they experience, diminishing the impact that actually difficult and intense fights really have. I'm not opposed to SBMM in most other contexts, but I truly believe it defeats the purpose of what Battle Royale game is trying to do. Some of my most fond memories in BR games are overcoming previously unsurmountable odds and clutching victory. And those moments are amplified by the otherwise dull other half of the experience, not diminished by it. Okay, so, wow. This is the one that made me think a lot. Because I remember when I first started playing this game, I was going against PC players, and this was my first ever BR game. And, you know, PC players already had experience with PUBG and H1C1. And I remember when I first started playing, I would get destroyed left and right. I was so afraid. I didn't want to make noise. I would always crouch. You guys have seen my old videos, you know, my first 15 wins. And every single fight was nerve-wracking. Every single fight was like, oh my god, I'm gonna die, because that's exactly how I felt. I remember using the tactical and getting one shot by PC players with the pump, and I'm over here trying to aim down the sights. Meanwhile, they're over here jumping, you know, and that's what I do now. That's what I do. I jump. I remember running from one spot to the other, not jumping, not moving, and getting sniped by these PC players. And I think that helped me a lot, because when this game first came out, you were able to play against PC players, Xbox players, and PS4 players all in the same lobby. Now, if I would have gone against other PS4 players that were also new and not against these PC players, I don't think I would have learned as much as I did and as fast as I did, because basically we would all suck, if that makes sense. So if you're a brand new player, you install this game, you know, you hear it's good, and you're going against other crappy players because, you know, they're new, they have no idea what they're doing, then how are you going to improve, right? Sure, you're going to get wins, but they're going to be too easy. It's basically going to be like playing the game in easy mode. That's basically what Epic is trying to do. They want players to play on hard versus other players are playing hard, you know, normal versus normal, and then easy versus easy. But the players that are on easy, how are they going to learn if they're never going to match up against, you know, the players that are normal? It's going to be very rare. You know, the way it is right now, you have no idea who you're going to get in the lobby. You know, out of 100 people, you might have, say, 15 good players, you know, and then the other, like, 30%, 40, you know, they're just going to be normal, and then the new ones. And then, like, the new players are getting wrecked left and right by everybody, but they're learning from each game. And each game, they're getting closer and closer and closer to that victory, and they're trying different things, you know, like hiding, and, okay, yo, this good player did this, or you learn by getting destroyed. You learn by dying. That's how, when people ask me, Alex, how do I get better? I say, just play the game, you know? And what Epic is trying to do here is trying to make it easier for people to get wins so they can feel good about the game. And I'm guessing so they can, you know, spend more money. That's another thing that somebody else said. So I really don't know, guys. Like this post right here that this guy posted on Reddit has 4,300 points. It's basically gold right now. And like I said, when I first heard about the matchmaking, the skill matchmaking, I was like, all right, hell yeah. Because sometimes I get some wins that are very like, you know, the guy doesn't even know how to build. He made it to like the top hiding, and those fights are not like, it's like, yeah. But whenever you get like a good fight at the end, like my heart's beating, like when a player makes me work for that kill, it's an amazing feeling. But another point that he said was, if you're always going against these players that are all good, like imagine a lobby full of like 100 AlexRamiGamings, every single fight is gonna be epic, it's gonna be sweaty, and then you're never gonna get a chance to like basically rest. It's gonna be like way too much. You won't be able to relax. Everybody's gonna be like try harding nonstop because everybody's gonna know that they're playing like in a lobby like full of tryhards basically. Like every single player's a tryhard. You're like for me as a streamer, I won't be able to read the chat. You guys know like how at the end, like when there's 5 players left or 10, I'll be like, hey guys, let me concentrate on the game. If it's like that from the beginning, I have to concentrate on the game like the whole damn time. There is no downtime. All right, and obviously this is not just for streamers. This is for everybody. Sometimes you just want to get in, from work, from school, whatever. And what makes it interesting, another point that he said is like you're watching the other players. So like you see an opponent and you see what he's doing, and you can kind of be like, oh, okay, well this guy's new or this guy's not new, and you approach each fight differently. There's a reason why Ninja is able to do these crazy finishes at the end, is because Ninja is so aggressive that he's taking out all the good players early on. Okay, so like Ninja's in a lobby, and the people that are hiding in houses and are hiding in bushes, Ninja is not going to kill them. Ninja's going to kill the guys that are building, that are also attacking. So at the end, it's Ninja versus a noob, right? And he's able to like microwave them and do all these crazy little things. If you remove that and basically every single fight is like Ninja versus Smith, then you're not going to have those little crazy moments, and every single fight is just going to be like, if you're always having that type of fight, it's gonna lose the meaning of like, oh my god, I just had an epic fight, and it works the same way. If you're down in the ladder and you're casual, all your fights are gonna suck also because they're all gonna be casual. You're going against all the players that don't know how to build. You're never gonna learn anything. Now, what this guy's saying is there's no need for skill-based matchmaking in a battle royale game, as triumphing over others in the circle are already doing that purpose. This should stay. This is normal play. Implementing this would basically turn normal play into ranked, which should be another separate game mode in this game. So what he's saying here is that there is no need to do, the matchmaking, because the circle is already taking care of that in the game. Usually, like new players or bad players, casual players, whatever you want to call them, are going to be dying early on because they're new. They don't know what they're doing. Sure, some of them can hide in a bush, in a house, etc. But that is going to be rare, and even rarer that they win unless, they start learning to play the game. And like I said earlier, they're going to learn by dying and playing against better players. Now, he does mention that if they are going to implement this, then they should leave this mode the way it is and, make a rank mode. That way, if you want to play rank, then you can queue up as rank. And if you want to just play casual, then you can just queue up to this. But here's the issue with that. If they're going to do rank, then how are they going to determine who the best players are? Are they going to use whoever gets the most kills? For ranks, because right now there really isn't no ranks. The only rank that they have implemented are wins. And I don't think that's a really good way to determine where you should be placed. And I'm saying that as one of the persons that has the most wins in the game. There's a bunch of players that are just as good or better than I am, and they play less, and nobody knows about them because they don't have the wins that I have, so you can't go by wins. Now, what if you go by kills? Well, this is a battle royale game, like, just because you run around getting kills, does that make you better than, somebody who wins? See, like, first they need to come out with a ranking system before they start doing this matchmaking, because right now they don't have one. They've been testing it. So I really don't know, man. I'm like, I really don't know which way to lean. Oh man, and there's other things. There's other things also. One guy also mentioned this. I believe he said in Destiny they added it, in Call of Duty, and I also like in Overwatch. So in Overwatch, I can only speak of Overwatch because that's the one that I was playing when I was streaming it. But there was this there's one viewer that I played with in Overwatch, and he was Grandmaster. He actually made it, and he had friends that were not as good as him. So if he ever wanted to play ranked with his friends, he would have to make another account, to be able to be able to play with them. Because if he played with his friends on his main account, then they would go up against better players than his friends, and his friends would basically just cost the team the game, And but then when he went on his Smurf, he wasn't making it fair for the opposite team. Does that make sense? And so it's like you're screwed if you do, you're screwed if you don't, because you either bring your crappy friends up to a higher level and they get stomped, or he's Grandmaster and he goes to the lower levels to play with his friends, and then he stomps the other ones. I don't know if that makes sense. So imagine I make a Smurf account, right? I have 0 wins, and Epic puts me against all these new players. I'm gonna go in there and get a bunch of kills, and make a YouTube video and be like, oh, look, I dropped a 30 bomb. A lot of people were doing that in Call of Duty. They would lose a lot of games on purpose so they could tank their rating, and then they would make all these highlight clips of like, oh, I dropped 50 bombs and I dropped 100, when they're in fact playing against a bunch of new players. So like this is a very very weird situation that Epic is in. Like I said, when I first heard about the matchmaking, I was like, oh hell yeah, matchmaking is gonna be cool. Like no more new players in the lobbies. Everybody's gonna know what they're doing. But after reading all these posts, I'm kind of like, well, man, yeah, some of these things that they're saying, it's kind of true. Like you need the downtime, to make the big moments and the big fights special. Like I said earlier, if every fight is the same, then it makes the game boring. You guys remember when some of the viewers would be like, Alex, isn't it boring to play the game? And I'm like, no. If I won every single game, then yeah, it would make the game super boring, because there's no excitement. There is no, I wonder what's going to happen, because I would be winning every single game. And that's what makes Battle Royale so unique and not boring compared to, like, say, Destiny or Call of Duty, etc. Because every single freaking game, I have the most games played in this game, more than anybody. I'm saying games played. I'm saying I'm the best player. Just the most games played, the most wins, and the most losses. And never once have I been in a game and said to myself, oh, I've experienced this before. I've been in this situation before. Every single game, somehow, every single game is different. I've been killed by really good players. I've been killed by really bad players that are hiding in a bush, and it's like, wow, he killed me. All right, that's great, and that player can learn, like, the players that are hiding, because like sometimes I have to hide in a bush, right? And I'll mention something like, whoa, so this is how it looks, for the people that play like this all the time, that hide in a bush, and they see these fights and these people building, they're picking up little things, little by little, like, all right, so this guy did that, I'm gonna do this next time, I'm gonna try it. So, oh my god, I really don't know. I'm just gonna oh man, this is a tough one, Chad. I really want to know what you guys think. Obviously, this is not edited. This ending is not edited. I'm edited. I don't know how to talk. I'm not gonna fix that, by the way. Adobe keeps crashing for some reason. It crashed like 200 times making this video. It's driving me nuts. Oh, man, I think they should just, if they're gonna implement skill-based MMR or matchmaking or whatever, they should just give us rank. They should just give us rank, and then that way people have both. Get options. Options are always good. For the people that want to play, rank, they can play rank. Obviously, I would be playing rank all the time. And the people that want to play casual, they can play casual with their friends, and they don't have to worry about, anything else. All right, so here we're gonna watch the ending of this game. I just shoot my blue balls or golden balls at this guy and get the W. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think, and make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed yet.